Hello YouTube, today's video is going to be regarding Imtep's Twitter post regarding 7 things to get your League of Legends jungler to play around you. So let's just jump into it. The first thing he mentions is too often there's the misconception that junglers should win your lane. Their real job is tracking enemy junglers, securing objectives, and punish when enemies are overextending. This is true. You can, however, make him play around you in a way where you both benefit greatly. So here starts. Have a winning lane. Having a lane where you are allowed to push enables your jungler to make plays around you, dive, invade, secure Drake and Herald. Constantly being at your tower with low HP is hard for your jungler to fix, and that's not his job. Be self-sufficient. So yeah, I mean, if you have push in lane and you have prio, that means that you can play more aggressive together with the jungler, and the jungler is allowed to play more aggressive on that side of the map. Otherwise, you actually want the enemy laner, if you want gank specific, then you want the enemy to slowly be pushing towards you, but you want to make sure that he's not full HP, because it's not that juicy for a jungler to gank a laner that's full HP. You would want him to be like half HP or less, then the jungler will most likely pay attention to that lane in terms of actually going for a gank. Otherwise, as he says, it will be a dive or an aggressive play. Second thing, don't push just because you're able to. A lot of players push just because the champions can get priority. While pushing allows your jungler to invade or secure objectives, a lot of the times you can set yourself and your jungle up for success by freezing the wave at least. Yeah, this is what I just explained. Holding the wave on your side of the lane while the jungler is nearby sets him up to collect free kills while he's not wasting any time trying to look for something that doesn't exist. Want ganks? Manage your waves according to your jungle's position. Yes, exactly. If your jungler is playing towards your side of the map, then that means that you can make the wave slowly push into you, and then that allows you to gank, or you can force the enemy to be low HP for a potential dive. But if the enemy if your jungler is on the opposite side of the map, that means that he's just not going to be playing around you, so you shouldn't rely on help from your jungler, meaning that you should not rely on needing help to push a wave or fix like this situation, or put yourself in a situation where you need help in order to win lane essentially, right? Don't force an all-in without information. How many times have you not tried to kill your lane with your jungler on the other side of the map with no information on where the enemy jungler is? Refrain from this, as your jungler can't be on your side at all times. If you think it's a good all-in and you want to flip it, by all means go for it, but don't blame anyone but yourself if you lose or if enemy jungler is there. Want to know when your jungler will be back on your side? Just look at his camp's respawn and you'll have an idea. Exactly. Play according to his champion. Is your jungler playing Graves? You know very well he can't babysit your lane when his camps are up. Knowing your jungler's champion and enemies and their level of proactivity in the early game is crucial to be able to make a game plan on your own. Yeah, I mean, essentially, if you're playing a power farming jungler, you should not expect a lot of ganks. This is what I see a lot of laners are complaining about when I'm playing Karthus jungle, for example. They're like, oh, you're just AFK farming. Well, yes, that is essentially the job of Karthus, is to power farm, get level 6, and then have global pressure on the entire map with his ulti. Whereas something like Xin Zhao or Jarvan much prefers to just fight and invade and gank. So knowing what type of jungler both you and the enemy team has makes it a lot easier for you to know how the game is going to go in terms of jungle pressure, because some junglers will pressure lanes a lot and other junglers will almost not pressure lanes at all. So this is very important to know. Do not die to the first gank. This one is obvious, but how frustrating must it be for your jungle to ping where enemy starts, only for him to collect a free kill a minute later? Use your trinkets and manage your wave according to where enemy/your jungler is heading for the first 3 levels. So right now in season 13, or pre-season at least, a lot of junglers can now power farm, even if they're single target. So it's very important that you pay attention to who ends up leashing. Junglers don't necessarily now always need a leash, But in lower elos specifically, they will most likely always leash. So pay attention to what lane leashes, and that lane is then where the enemy jungler starts, meaning that he's going to be on the opposite side of that map, playing for the opposite scuttle around minute 3:30, right? So if he starts on bot, that means that he will be around top from minute 3 to minute 4, and that's where you have to be careful, and vice versa. Give your jungler options. Want to dive? Spam ping it. Want him to cover you while you push in the wave or invade enemy jungle that just respawn? Communicate it. This gives him the information he needs to make a decision, and all you have to do is be ready. So yeah, diving is very good. Covering is a little bit more difficult, both to pull off but also to communicate, and especially in lower elos this will not happen, but it's something that should happen if people know how to play the game properly. And last but not least, respect his timers. Jungle is always going to be a very potent role because it affects the whole map. If you want to invade but your jungler is recalling with all his camps up, 9 out of 10 times it's better to respect his timers and wait for the next one. Frustrating at times, but good. Yeah, and this is essentially just the frustrating part of League of Legends, that you want to go for a call and potentially the call is the very best call and a very good call to do in the moment. But if your teammates are not playing according to the call, well, then you have to call it off, simply because of the fact that you essentially will need your teammates to play according to the call, and if they don't want to, well, then that good call is now no longer optional. So for example, if you want to rush Baron, and technically it is a very good idea to rush Baron, but your teammates are not going to, well, then you can't just go and solo start Baron because no one gains anything from it. Now, I have seen one of MTest's Twitter posts recently. It was also very, very good, and I think his tweets are very, very good. I would actually love to see more of his coaching sessions. He is a coach on Metafy. I would also love to be a coach on Metafy, not gonna lie. But he seems very, very smart about the game, so give him a follow on Twitter. And yeah, I would love to see some of his coaching sessions because he seems like a very smart guy. He is a multi-season challenger and he's coaching ADC, support, and jungle. And this jungle tweet is very good for everyone to know, not only the junglers but also the laners, so that they understand the jungle role better and vice versa. So if you enjoyed the video, remember to like. If you have any questions regarding any of these tips that MTest has given, then leave in the comment section down below and then I can elaborate, because I have the same kind of idea of how jungle should be played and how laners should be playing according to jungle as this guy. So yeah, I should be able to elaborate if needed. And otherwise, subscribe to not miss out on future content. And then I just hope to see you guys in my next YouTube video. See you guys.